of making them fishers of men. It really dawned on me that, that is the heart of God. The gospel must be preached, not only preached, but people need to be raised up themselves to be the ones that take this gospel to the nations of the earth. And we thank God for raising you up for a time such as this. I believe this word that was preached to you in your early days or in your younger days, it fell on what I call the fourth soil. We all know the story about the seeds that were sown, and it fell on different grounds. But I always tell people when I preach this gospel that don't ever forget the fourth soil. The fourth soil is the fertile soil, the fertile ground, where the seed is being sown and it grows and it germinates, and that seed takes root into the ground. And you are a product of the gospel. You are a product. You've heard the gospel, and God continued to grow that seed that was sowed on the ground of your heart. And today we can, with great enthusiasm and happiness and joy, call you a man of God because of an evangelistic ministry that was shared with you. Now, I want to touch on the last point with you, and I want us to solely focus on the young people. You've mentioned that you were a young person, you loved football, and fast track or fast forward to you being now in varsity. In your delivery of your journey, you've mentioned that at varsity you could see temptation everywhere. It was everywhere. Can you help a young person out there? How can a young man keep his heart pure, his life pure? You've been through the journey. You've been young. You're a grown man now. You're a husband. You're a father. But how can we help our young people today? Those that are maybe at that stage where they're at varsity now, and they face so many challenges. But you rightfully called it sin, because sin is sin. Come on, let's help somebody as we wrap up our discussion with you, men of God.
All right. The varsity track or the varsity part of life, I believe, is the most defining one. You see, in high school, you're still finding yourself, and a lot of people pretend to be something when they are not. And majority of your youth, you actually don't know who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. And while you are in the process of becoming, you must not define yourself while you're still in the process. And which is what people do, is that while they are still in the oven of God, while God is still making them and perfecting them, a lot of people try to define themselves because they are impatient. They see a lot of things in the world that are finished products of good, and also finished products of evil, and whatever that you admire at that point in time. And when you are young, you are very impressionable, so whoever has a bigger personality will probably influence you.
Okay.
And because you yourself, you lack that awareness of your identity and your calling, therefore you downplay everything that you are hearing from God, everything you could be possibly being led into. So me going from high school I'm an introvert. You see, I'm an introvert. So it gets deeper and worse for people like myself. So again, introvert, God has a sense of humor that he calls introverts to also speak the gospel or share the gospel. So as an introvert, very quiet guy, not knowing what to do or how to go about life. When I enter into varsity now, people claim that they are a specific kind of a person. And then with the varsity life, my advice would be that when you enter there, don't pretend to be what you're not. Don't forget your values, don't forget your principles, and most of all, that is actually the time where you need to be selfish. I know that sounds very contradictory, but you have to be very selfish in the fact that you must notice the sacrifices that you are making, the sacrifices that you are taking, and also the risks that you are taking, that you must not waste your time. Like I mentioned before, you're not living on, you don't have an extra life, you don't have extra time. You need to use it to your full effect. So that was part of the things that were in my mind at that time, that I cannot waste it. And in varsity, I began to write a vision plan, right? Where I wrote down a question that if I was to die, what needs to be written down? Then I realized that I need to marry right. I need to have children. I need to make sure that they go in a specific way. And then I realized that from where I come from, I cannot ruin the pattern.
Sure.
I cannot ruin the pattern. You must consider where you come from and also think about where you are going. Then ask yourself, from where I am right now, am I drawing towards that place or am I destroying it? And you realize that most of the time when you answer this question, you know that this person is wasting my time. And be willing to cut them off, because friends come and go, but purpose remains. People must come as a result of purpose. If they cannot facilitate for that purpose, I'm telling you right now, they are stagnating it, they are killing it, and you're receiving something that is foreign to your life and to your destiny. So I say in varsity, become very selfish, have a plan, have a vision, stick to it. If you make mistakes, it's okay. You are only human, but know how to run back to the potter and allow him to mold you again and to perfect you. Remember, in Philippians it says, he who has begun a good work will complete it. So if God has begun anything in you, anything good, just look at any part of your life, he must perfect it. So allow the journey to continue, and trust me, you're not a finished product. Allow God to prune you, to work on those characteristics that you don't even like. Allow those things to surface, and then bring it to him in prayer and say, Lord, I've noticed this about myself, and then what are we going to do about it? And the Lord will begin to lead you, prune you, and just perfect you. So perfection is still a long way, but we are all walking from grace to grace. So that will be my advice. Stick to the plan, stick to the vision. If you don't have one, find somebody that has an enviable vision and goal, and use that as a platform so that God can launch you in a much more defined pathway.
Pastor B, I think you've done justice to this discussion this afternoon. And even as you came in this afternoon, I had to let people know out there, before you could even speak, I've walked with you for some time, and I know God has given you great wisdom just to articulate his word. And you bring so much wisdom as you deliver your message today. Thank you so much. There's so much clarity, and I know that people have been helped with regards to their journey with the Lord as well, especially this generation. We need our young people to really embrace loving Jesus, being in this kingdom without compromise. And varsity is one of those places where the enemy seems to be targeting, hitting hard on the young people. But I believe with such information, we are taking back the ground that maybe we might have lost. But we thank God for your life and the anointing that he has bestowed upon your life. So thank you so much for coming through, man of God, Pastor Bongani Mnisi. And I know people are blessed by your presence in the studio this afternoon. We do have a WhatsApp from Rebecca Pala. She says, a powerful Pastor Bongani, true, wow, identity. I think they were identifying with your take there, staying true to your identity in the kingdom, even at that place where there's so much temptation and things that want to draw us back from what God has purposed for us. But thank you so much once again, Pastor B, and I know we're going to be having you soon